Hi guys, welcome to part 2 of the Embargo Football Manager experiment where every team in the world is under a transfer embargo. Seemed like you pretty enjoyed episode number 1, the first look at the world of football with no transfers. So we're going to come back, we're going to do a part 2. So this one is going to be 25 years in the future, 50 years in the future and 100 years in the future. First of all, if you do like this video, want to see more experiment videos, and come and check out my Tuner's Travels, which is a massive challenge, sort of career save to win every competition in the base nations, basically every top league, every top cup, every international cup and every continental cup. Come and check that out on the channel as well, so please do subscribe to come and see more Football Manager content here. And you take a look at it and see how the world of football has changed. Of course, last time we was here, we did 10 years in total, so 15 years have passed. And if we just take a look at the Premier League table this season, one thing that immediately just stood out to me was Everton being relegated there. We'll just take a look at the past winners. Everton obviously winning the league twice. City winning the league was the last one that we saw. Arsenal seems to have become the major player since Tottenham winning one league title, but Arsenal have certainly come about here with Nathaniel Klein as their manager. That is interesting. Let me just change my panels back around because they don't like to stay as they are. Their vice captain is also their key player, Endri Sheshi. Ernest Morrow being their captain. Let's just take a look at Sheshi, shall we? Again, my panels haven't saved. Striker, he's a pretty good player. He's a very good player. I don't have any. That 30 years old now. Star player for them, no wonder at all. So let's just take a flick. Premier League, shall we? Watford, Leicester and Bournemouth being relegated that season, the first one after we left off. Liverpool finishing out of the top 7. Liverpool sort of in free fall here, down in 12th that season when Tottenham won the league. I'm just looking for any major standout teams or, you know, relegations, that sort of stuff. Liverpool back up into 3rd in that one. And then immediately down to 9th again, Southampton and Everton doing decent. Southampton, a team that I expected to be challenging really with their youth facilities. They have a very good training, youth, routine coaching. I'm surprised that they are not doing better, to be quite honest with you. So yeah, just a quick flick through. Obviously, you can pause the video and take a deeper look should you choose. I mean, no major teams relegated really. Everton are definitely the biggest team to have gone down at the moment. Leicester, you could argue, are a bigger team than Everton, but yeah. So we know Arsenal are managed by Nathaniel Klein. Very interesting one. Charlton have got Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So well, he managerial history is very interesting. Just take a look at him here. Where do we was on that stage? But yeah, so his milestones in terms of jobs. He was sacked as Manchester United in 2031, hired by Sevilla. Then a year later left Sevilla to take charge of Chelsea. He lasted a year there before being sacked and was hired at West Brom. Sacked from West Brom, hired as Reims manager. Offered Southampton and Derby managerial jobs, left Reims for Southampton, where he was then sacked. Offered the job as Fulham manager, left Fulham for AC Milan. Left AC Milan for Everton. Sacked as manager of Everton, went to Schalke, left Schalke, and he's now manager of Charlton. So That's an interesting career path for Solskjaer. He's at Charlton here, being relegated down in 19th. Chelsea have Quim Ramon as manager. Lampard was sacked after 12 years in charge. Solskjaer didn't even last a year. Tuchel then for a further 7 years, just under 6 years before he left. And Quim Ramon coming in. Cully Woodrow in charge of Crystal Palace. Everton don't currently have a manager. They've had a lot of managers. Ancelotti sacked, Santo resigned, Mourinho leaving, Conte sacked, Abelardo sacked, Farker sacked, Tony sacked, Geratino sacked, Holman leaving, Solskjaer sacked, Almeida sacked, and Perez sacked. So a lot of managers have come and gone at Everton. Fulham are managed by Adam Dawson. Where's Morgan at Ipswich? Sergei Semak at Liverpool. Again, a lot of managers here. Klopp was sacked. Marcelino sacked. Let's just hide caretaker. That might make Jesus sacked. Allegri. Milijovic. Garcia. Michael O'Neill. Bullet. Seni. Oluka and Semak all sacked there. Rodrigo Seni, the only person to have lasted more than 2 years in charge of Liverpool, obviously the famous goalkeeper. City, Jesus Navas is back as City manager. Pep there, Sao, Allegri, Klopp, Holy Zidane, Sacramento Spring, Patrick Vieira leaving the job. He went to Augsburg. Interesting. Manchester United managed by Lucas Piscineri, Solskjaer, Mickelson, Schmidt, Bruno Fernandes, and Mark Van Bommel. Bruno Fernandes was an interesting one. He's now at Schalke, obviously. Goals at Real Madrid and Juventus for him as manager also. So a decent little manager here. Look at that. Well, Newcastle, Jack Marriott, James Burton at Norwich, Jake Wigley, Reading, Ola Beeson, United, Sheffield Wednesday also up there will remain Sawyers, Southampton, Harry McHugh, Swansea, Paul Mullin, Tottenham don't currently have a manager. They've just got rid of Abel Ferreira after 7 years in charge. They've also had Casemiro, Sene, Conte, Valverde. Mourinho being sacked there. He has now retired. West Brom, Tilo Kehrer. West Ham, Diego Carlos. So, not so many names you perhaps expect there. Some interesting movements in terms of managers. Just take a quick flick through the league, shall we? Leeds going back up. Chester making it to the Championship, being relegated this season. Cambridge, perhaps a bit surprising up there. League One, AFC Telford in playing Championship next season. For the third time, relegated in their first season, both before. Chesterfield up there, my local team. Quite nice to see. Any major teams that have dropped down to here? Stoke, probably the biggest one down in this league. League Two, Wigan, QPR both down in League Two. Cardiff being relegated to non-league football. That's quite a shock, isn't it? Huddersfield as well, just surviving. Two pretty big teams there. Cardiff, free fall. Bouncing between League One and League Two for most of this, but they're now a non-league side. Replacing Notts County and Crawley. Any big ones down here? Scarborough, you obviously start in the unplayable leagues, are up into this league. So no major teams really down there. Van Norma National North. Again, I don't expect to see too many shocks down here at all. So FA Cup, who are the past winners of the FA Cup? We haven't really looked at this. Obviously Burnley being the shock winner in that first season, sort of as you'd expect. The bigger teams have dominated this competition. Wolves in there, Everton and Leicester as well. Carabao Cup, Manchester United, I see a lot in there. Wolves, Leeds, Southampton, but yeah, mostly Manchester United. Community Shield, Arsenal, Man City, as all of that. We don't care about the Papa John whatsoever. So a lot of change over in England. What about over in Spain? And I can already see some interesting past winners on here. So obviously Real Madrid, Barcelona dominating it. Valencia the last team to win, which is a bit of a shock. But Athletic Club and Real Betis both winning the league. Athletic Club have also had a pretty decent run. They're now 15-time champions. Barcelona winning this current season. But yeah, definitely been challenged up there. Real Betis winning the league last season, now down in 8th. So very, very interesting in Spain. We won't take a proper look into Spain. I don't know that much about Spanish football to really dig deep and see who are big teams that have fallen, etc. Same as in Germany, which we can already see it's been Dortmund and Hertha Berlin. So Dortmund ending Bayern Munich's run of titles. They're on a pretty decent run themselves before Hertha Berlin have taken back-to-back league championships now. This time a point ahead of Dortmund and Bayern. Very interesting there. Italy. So we have the two Milan clubs. Passing it between them, virtually still the same. Atalanta and Rome are both having league titles as well, but it's still virtually Milan. AC wise, Juventus down in 12th. They have dropped massively. If we take a look at this, second has been their highest finish. They've just turned into a mid-table Italian team now. And over in France, look what happens to PSG when their money dries up. Lyon, Lille, Monaco, Nice all winning the league. PSG in 4th. They've been there or thereabouts every season, but just not good enough, really. They lose that money, and Troy Parrott, charge of PSG. Wow. is all I can say. Champions League, I've not done that properly, but we'll do it that way. Who cares? Barcelona beating Manchester City in the final this time. Winners of the Champions League, obviously Man City getting their first title there. Arsenal getting their first title there. Porto winning the Champions League. Espanyol. Barcelona for the last 2 years now. So interesting. Athletic Club, 4-time runners-up as well. Europa League, a few English teams winning this, a few big teams winning this as well. Obviously Dortmund, Milan, Lazio, Benfica, Porto, City, Liverpool, Leipzig, Atalanta, Arsenal, Chelsea, Bayern, Atletico Madrid, Inter Milan. So yeah, interesting in the Europa League. Europa Conference League, Atletico Madrid, Tottenham, Real Madrid, all counting this as a trophy in their cabinet. The Cup, again, just a nice mix of all the teams around there. FIFA World Cup so far: England, Belgium, Portugal, Holland, Portugal, and Belgium. So Belgium, 2 times champions of the world. Portugal also winning it twice. Holland getting their first trophy. The Nations League, England 4 years in a row, well, 4 competitions in a row, before France, 2 for Spain, back to England, and Spain again taking the Nations League. And the Euros: France, England, France, Switzerland, Spain, Italy, and Serbia. Serbia is a interesting one there as well. So they must have had some pretty decent players coming through. Who's managing England now? Fabian Grosso. Former England managers include obviously Southgate, Dyche, Ancelotti, Guardiola, Vieira, Corluka, pretty interesting over in England as well. That's all I'm going to take a look at this part of this video. I'm going to go sim ahead another 25 years. It's going to be 50 years after we start. See if there's any major changes there. So we'll be back in just a moment for that. So we're back at 2070, obviously 50 years from the start date of the game. Let's go take a look what's happened, shall we? Southampton win the league in the, I believe this is the season after we left off last time. I'm just going to have a quick flick through. Everton relegated after coming straight back up again. Manchester United back on top with Southampton again the next season. So Southampton obviously a pretty good team now, which I did mention, I believe, in the first part of this episode, that they were I expected them to do really well with their youth facilities and the history they've got of bringing players through. So it's no real surprise that they're up there for me. Exeter and Walsall both in the Premier League this season. Manchester City down in 9th. Exeter finally relegated after 2 seasons. Not bad going from them. And yeah, I mean, it's still virtually sort of as you'd expect. Chelsea down in 16th is not really what you'd expect, to be fair. Manchester United in 11th as well. And then Chelsea just staying up on goal difference the season after as well. With Manchester United also slipping again. Chelsea did a bit better that season. So Chelsea did actually get relegated in 67-68. That's a bit of a massive shock. Plymouth finishing 3rd in the Premier League. How about that, Plymouth fans? Before finishing 10th the season after. Chelsea just surviving again. This is the season that's just finished in England. Leicester, West Brom and Birmingham all going down. Chelsea staying up by a point this time. Arsenal down in 14th. Tottenham in 13th. Liverpool in the league. But one thing that I have noticed here is there's only 3 Champions League places and no Europa League places. They're all Europa Conference League. So obviously a bit of a downturn for English football in Europe. And it does seem like a few teams are dominating for periods, having a few wins in a row. And then it bounces around a couple before again. Look at Liverpool 6 years in a row there. The FA Cup, Colchester winning this season, just finished. But again, sort of as you would expect in that. Same with the Carabao Cup, really. Obviously, you've got names like Norwich in there that you probably wouldn't expect. Fulham, perhaps. But yeah, sort of still as you would expect. Go take a look at the leagues in England, sorry, the rest of them, see if there's any surprises, really. Obviously, we've seen next to them made it to the Premier League. They're now in the Championship. Chester up there as well. Stockport in League One. Brighton and West Ham have both fallen to League One level. So not a good few. It's been 50 years, so not a good run at all for them. Are they going to be the lowest ones that are current Premier League sides? No current ones in League 2, but again, some pretty big teams in there. National League, I'm not expecting to see too many that have dropped this low. Cardiff, Rotherham, Blackpool, all down in non-league. The National League North, yeah, sort of, again, as you'd expect, Scunthorpe, perhaps the biggest team to have dropped to that level. And in the South, again, no real surprises. Down there, QPR, actually, that's a surprise. I've just seen QPR came up by the playoffs. So they have had a pretty big fall indeed. In Germany, take a look at the past winners. The Hertha, Bayern, Dortmund, Gladbach, Köln, Freiburg had a couple. Hertha, most recent one. You can see here they are now the most reputable league in the world. Premier League down in 4th, so that probably shows why they lost a couple of places. France has dropped down to 7th as well, beaten by Portugal and Holland. So sort of not that surprising in the Bundesliga. Obviously, Bayern and Dortmund are still very much up there. Leipzig's still up there as well. So no massive surprises, in my opinion, there. Celta Vigo have regained the league title from Espanyol last time. Now, the Barcelona every now and again. Atletico Madrid had a good spell. But yeah, mainly Celta Vigo, they are now the big team. Up in La Liga, Real Madrid in 3rd. Atletico Madrid down in 13th that season. Serie A, Parma are now champions. 3 years in a row they've now won it. So they've sort of ended the Atalanta and Milan spell. Juventus down in 13th this season. 2nd last season I saw as well. So bit of a change for them. Parma and Calgary, the top 2 in Serie A. And over in France, Lyon winning the league again. PSG in 6th this time. Stade Rennais get a couple of league titles in there as well, but it's very much Lyon being the big team in Ligue 1. And we'll just take a quick look at the past winners of the Champions League. Milan, a couple of seasons. Atletico Madrid. Vitória de Guimarães from Portugal. Perhaps a bit surprising, not the Portuguese team I was expecting. They came after Benfica and Porto. So Portugal 5 years in a row winning the Champions League. Celta Vigo, Freiburg, Hertha, Celta Vigo again, and Dortmund. So I'm going to go and play up until 2100 when the embargoes end. And we'll cover like the national competitions. All of them will have a proper deep dive in the next part of this episode. And we're back for the final part of this experiment video. We're in the year 2100 on the 1st of June, and you can see the Premier League table right in front of you. Aston Villa are going to win the Premier League in 2100. The Tottenham, Southampton and Charlton up there. Chelsea, Manchester United in the top 7. Exeter and Plymouth both up in the Premier League as well. AFC Wimbledon back in the Premier League. But I am noticing that one crucial thing, just having a quick glance at the table right now, is there's no Liverpool at all. Yes, Man City down in 15th. Perhaps to be expected at this point, not being able to spend any money, but there's no Liverpool at all. But first, let's just take a look at the past winners. Since 2017, we had a spell of Liverpool dominance. A couple of years with Fulham winning the league. Then again, Liverpool 5 years in a row. Chelsea won it 7 out of 8 years, just broken up by Aston Villa there in the middle. Tottenham then winning it before trading it with Chelsea over a number of years. Charlton winning the Premier League, Tottenham and Aston Villa in pole position over the last 3 years though. So that is how the Premier League looks at the moment. Into the Championship, West Ham coming up as champions with Newcastle and Walsall. Everton down here, Leicester down here, but one thing that's standing out immediately, Liverpool relegated from the Championship along with Bradford, Park Avenue and Nottingham Forest. And if we just take a quick look at Liverpool, you can see briefly, if I go to this screen, it was down in League 2. So 20 years ago, they'd won back-to-back Premier League titles before slowly tumbling down the league, relegated in 88-89. 2 seasons in Championship, second year relegated from there. 3 years in League 1 before being relegated, immediately coming back up as champions. Then League 1, 6th place coming up through the playoffs. Before, this is the 3rd season now in the Championship and have been relegated back to League 1. 36 Premier League titles. You can see that they haven't won another Champions League trophy though. Bradford, Park Avenue have had a fantastic rise. Obviously they start off non-league. so they've managed to make it to the Championship at some point. You may see as well, obviously, as we're clicking through some teams, that they are still in the transfer ban. There's still like another month left of the transfer ban. League One, Chesterfield coming up as champions, my local team, so that's quite nice to see there, with Blackburn and Sheffield Wednesday going up. No other particular standouts really for me in there. There's been no massive drops, no massive gains in that league. League Two, Wigan champions in that one. Anyone? Colville in 12th there, Basford, Margate. Brighton, just about remaining a Football League team, they have dropped massively also. International League, Rotherham winning the league there. Let's just take a quick run through here, sort of as you'd expect. Again, no massive names down there. National League, Carlisle winning the league. National League North, this is of course. Sort of as you'd expect, you can see it all on the screen if you do want to pause and take a deeper look. Or one thing you can do is I have uploaded this save to Mega Upload. You can find that link down in that description right down there. So if you do want to take over any of these teams in the year 2100, having not been able to spend a penny for 80 years, then go and download that. Just resign the manager that's there at the moment, add your own guy in, and you've got to go. You can take any of these teams. You can take Dulwich Hamlet, been promoted. Cardiff in the National League South, QPR down there as well. Maybe a rebuilding job with one of them too. In terms of the FA Cup, we haven't taken too much of a look at this. Exeter and Stevenage, two names that immediately stand out there as winning the FA Cup. Colchester also. So perhaps a bit of a surprise, and they're not quite the dominant from the big teams that we saw early on. Similar with the Carabao Cup, we've got people like Plymouth, obviously, Reading, Sunderland, Cambridge, Burnley. Saying that's if Burnley, a small team, an established Premier League team. So you know, but yeah, interesting there around England. And as you can see on the competition reputation, that's not that hard to say. Apparently it is. Bundesliga, Santander, and then Portugal and Russia have jumped above the Premier League and Serie A, and there's no France at all in that top 8. We're going to go and take a look at the Bundesliga, and who's been winning here? Obviously Dortmund, Hertha, Köln, St. Pauli get a league title there, and Greuther Fürth, I believe is how you pronounce them. And well, I mean, they've bounced around a bit. 5 Bundesliga titles now. Where did they start in real life? Take a look at domestic leagues and scroll all the way down. They are a second Bundesliga team. So yeah, they bounced around a bit, but they've managed to get a couple of back-to-back league titles there. We'll just click back to the Bundesliga and take a look at the league table. You may have also noticed that Bayern Munich avoiding relegation thanks to the playoffs as well. Leipzig finishing bottom of the league here. Bayern have also been one of them teams that have bounced between leagues as well. Relegation, promotion for them. So not great at all for Bayern. Leipzig again sort of up and down. Dortmund are still up there though. They're still challenging. In Spain, Espanyol win the league. It's been them for quite a few years. We've got Betis, Valencia, Athletic Club in there. Obviously Barcelona and Atletico Madrid as well. Them two top 2. Real Madrid down in 11th there. They've remained, at least for the past few years, in La Liga, similar to Barcelona and Atletico Madrid as well. That one's perhaps still the closest so far to real life, I'd suppose. In Italy, Napoli have had a nice spell there. You can see Lazio, Roma, Parma, Bologna. Atalanta have dropped a bit. Inter, Juventus, Milan. So again, I suppose similar sort of teams that you would expect. Sort of in and around, obviously, Lazio, Napoli, Roma. You'd expect them to be up there as well. There's been a few shocks I guess some new teams coming through, which is quite nice to see. Where is France now? France has dropped to the 13th best league, and the current league table has PSG down in 16th. The past winners of this, PSG did get it a couple of years. The odd few, we're looking at people like Marseille, Lille, Monaco, Stade Brest, Sochaux, Nice, Nimes, Strasbourg there as well. But PSG, they've also had a little bit of a bounce between a couple of leagues as well. So interesting through those. What's happened in the Champions League? Anderlecht winning it this year, beating Barcelona. And I mean, if we just look at some of the teams since the start, I mean, Bayern, Milan, Arsenal, Dortmund, City, Porto, Barcelona, and then it changes like Hertha, Celtic, Lyon, Lille, Southampton, Vitoria, Celta Vigo, Freiburg, Hertha Berlin, Parma, Espanyol, Celtic again in there, Athletic Club, Cologne, Benfica, Hertha, Benfica, Napoli to back, Anderlecht, Espanyol, Benfica, and Anderlecht. So things have definitely changed in Europe. In the Europa League, Celtic winning a couple of times there. Sort of hit and miss. Again, no massive team really since Dortmund in 83, 84. Probably a bit harsh on people like Benfica and, Roma, but Europa Conference League, Tottenham winning in 95, 96 there, so an English winner recently. The World Cup past winners, if I want to click on that. So obviously England won the first one. Belgium, Portugal, Holland, Portugal, Belgium, England, Argentina, Croatia, Belgium, Portugal, Holland, Argentina, Brazil finally get their World Cup back. Serbia, Germany, Spain, Belgium, Brazil, and France. So Serbia for me is the standout name there to have won the World Cup. Belgium, obviously, incredibly strong. 3 times winners. They've been 4 times winners, sorry. Runners up quite a few times also. So, yeah, definitely interesting there. Brazil still record winners. And if we just take a look at the Nations League, let's have a quick flick through these. England 4 times in a row. Spain then go 5 times in a row. But that is very much as you would expect in the Nations League. In terms of the Euros, I can already see one pretty much shocked there. So France beating Holland, England beating France, France beating Portugal. We've got Switzerland winning it. Spain, Italy, Serbia, Holland, back-to-back for Portugal, Germany, Spain, Germany, Belgium, Serbia, Croatia, Portugal, Belgium, and then Scotland. Scotland beating Belgium, and the Euros, as you can see, they're being held in Scotland and Wales as well. So that is massive for Scotland. Belgium, the most recent winners also. So, yeah, I mean, things definitely have changed quite a lot here. Let's take a look. The biggest club in the world is now Benfica, Anderlecht, ahead of Benfica, Ajax, Porto, Hertha, Sao Paulo, Celtic, Napoli, Dortmund. Barcelona, the highest of the current, big clubs that you'd expect in Europe. Bayern still clinging on up there as well. Richest clubs, Leipzig, Wimbledon are apparently the second richest club in the world there. So yeah, it's definitely been interesting to see how much no transfers affect things. I mean, if we just take a look at leading transfers, these are virtually all what are pre-arranged in the game. Been nothing since 2022. So yeah, very different sort of thing. Like I say, if you do want this game, if you want this save, then you can go and find that in the link down below. And I'll also put a link down below to the Steam workshop for this database as well. So if you want a database where every club in the world is under transfer embargo until 2100, then go and click that link and go and give it a download. Go and give it an upvote. Like this video. Let me know if you want to see more experiment videos. I do have plans. If you want to see more, please do let me know and we'll get more experiment videos coming your way. Subscribe for more Football Manager content. We have daily Monday to Friday Football Manager around the world save. We're going around the world trying to win every division, every top division, every top cup in every base nation. It's a massive challenge. So come and check that out, see how we're going. Until next time, you stay safe. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.